Hello everyone, this is Beastly Eel here, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the latest episode of Ahsoka. So this is episode 4, and let me tell you, if you have not seen this episode, I highly recommend you pausing this video and then watching the episode and then coming back, because there are a lot of things that happen in this episode, in the sense of that are very major, like, major plot points, but also major like twists that we can definitely say we were not expecting. Some possibly, but not all for sure. So it starts off with um, Ahsoka, the droid, and Sabine trying to fix the ship enough to actually get it going so they can, do what they need to do to get out of it. While I don't want to say the enemy, we'll say, because I don't want to say the Empire, because that's not the right phrase I want to use, but definitely the enemy. The enemy was looking for them, and while the droid is outside trying to fix it, he gets attacked by one of their battle droids, and they start going attacking each other, and that's when he shuts off the energy of the ship, and that's when Ahsoka and Sabine figure out what's going on. They go out there and start taking out the robots and the men one by one. We get to see Sabine fight in full Mandalorian armor and with weapons, taking them all out, along with Ahsoka, obviously using her Jedi powers, but also Force abilities and her lightsabers. So she was taking out a lot of people, more so than him, on the other hand. I mean, more so than her, sorry. And it was going really well. So then they defeat their opponents and then go hunting. And when I say hunting, they were looking for where the map is so they could stop uh, their enemy from figuring out where they needed to go. So we have Ahsoka and Sabine running to that area, and that's when they're stopped by the Inquisitor and the Apprentice. So they start attacking each other. So Sabine goes after the Apprentice, and Ahsoka goes after the Inquisitor. Sorry. So they start fighting and everything else. And at the beginning, Sabine is using her blaster and everything else, and then she switches to her lightsaber. The two start battling lightsaber to lightsaber. Now, while this is all going on, um, Hera figures out that she's not going to sit around and wait for approval, and that she's going to go and help her friends out because they need her. So she takes the squadron with her, especially after she gets notification of exactly where they are. So they head out. So then we have Ahsoka takes out the Inquisitor. Now, the weird part of this is the Inquisitor wasn't even alive because when she sliced him open, and I'm using him as a global term, and I do apologize, but when she sliced them across the chest, they turned to green smoke. They were just magic from the Night Sister, which is incredible to think that that's even possible. So then they she was going to go help Sabine, and Sabine orders her to go after the map and to stop him. So that's when Sabine and the apprentice start fighting each other even harder. And the apprentice is basically stating that you're going to regret this. Now Ahsoka makes it to the area. Now while this is but right before this happens, the Night Sister explains to Balin. Balin, is that how you say his name? Balin? Yes, Balin. I get so confused with some of these names. But anyway, she says to him to keep the map safe, and she will send a what's it called? She'll send a shuttle for him when they're ready to go, and then his job is to protect the map. So Ahsoka gets there, and the two start fighting. Now, one of the weird things is he talks about how Anakin spoke so highly of her, and she's like, "How do you know? I mean, he's never told me about you." And that's when she pretty much gets mad and basically says, I'm not here to discuss my past. And he's like, well, I'm here to discuss the future. And they begin to fight each other. And this fight is actually really good. The two going back and forth is incredible. And it gets to the point where she takes the map away, burns her hand. She lets go of it, obviously. And then she now has one less hand to fight with. And that's when he goes on the offensive and knocks her right over to the. I don't want to say she's at the edge. She's pretty darn close. So then the apprentice shows up, and when the apprentice shows up, um, Ahsoka assumes that Sabine has been killed, and she uses the Force, grabs the with the Force, grabs the apprentice, slams her as hard as she can up against the rock wall, and then they continue their fight. Um, then Sabine gets there, and she grabs the map and is about to shoot it. And Ahsoka tells her to take the shot and just end it. And Sabine does not. Ahsoka gets slashed, although she does not get hit. It's her lightsaber, but she gets knocked off the platform. So then she's now threatening to blast the map, and Balin realizes that she's not going to do it. So he puts his lightsaber away and basically explains to her that I will let you live if you give me the map, and we will see Ezra together. And that's exactly what happens. So she goes to give the map back to him, and she does. The apprentice starts to try to force choke her, and Balin's like, nope, we're going to keep her alive because she's earned it. They handcuff her and bring her back to the ship. So they take her to the hyperdrive ship. Now, while this is all going on, the Phoenix Squadron gets there, and they're trying to block the path of this ship. They take off anyway, goes right through them all, knocks out a lot of X-wings um, pretty easily. Because the speed at which they were going was enough force to send a couple of them smashing into each other, and that was the end of that piece. And then we find Ahsoka in the world between worlds, and I am 1,000% sure that's where she is. No idea how she got there, and she's there with um, Anakin Skywalker, and that's how the episode ends. So I don't even know what's going to happen. Not a single clue in my head on what's going to happen. I mean, they definitely threw me for a loop on this episode. Um, I mean, Balin knowing Anakin and knowing what he became, which is so rare, um, and just the fact that she's in the world between worlds again, this time supposedly from her own way of doing so. But we'll have to wait and see exactly what happens. And obviously, this is an Anakin that I think this is in between episode 2 and 3 Anakin, it looks like, but it's hard to tell. I can't quite tell, but definitely interested to see what the heck is going to happen. I mean, this episode was incredible. I mean, apparently, this next episode is supposedly being released in theaters. So I have no idea how big it's going to be, how amazing it's going to be. I have no idea, but I'm super excited about it. Let me know in the comments what you guys thought about this episode. Did you like it? Did you not? And why? And I will definitely be attacking you in the comments if you did not like this episode. This was an incredible episode, in my personal opinion. Um, but overall, thought it was great. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments. And as always, if you like the content you see, please like and subscribe below. Other than that, this is going to be Beastly Eel signing out. Have a great night.